Today is 4th of July 2021. We are going to be going to the Salt Springs Recreation Area located in the Ocala National Forest. Once you pull in the gate, you will be going to the check-in area where you will pay to get in or register for your campsite. We brought along our kayaks to explore the Salt Springs Run. Once we got to the guard gate, we found out that you have to be a registered camping guest in order to use the boat ramp that's inside the park. So we went ahead and rented a site for the night, and we were able to use the launch that is near the primitive camping area. Once you leave the guard gate, you take a right to go down to the spring area, or you take a left to go to the primitive and full hookup campground. We decided to go ahead and unload all of our cooking stuff and find a picnic table down by the spring, and then we went back over to the primitive camping area where our campsite was and unloaded the kayaks and put them in. In the parking lot area, you'll see a store at the end of the parking lot between the spring walkway, and they sell stuff like snacks, bottled water, drinks, camping necessities, souvenirs, stuff like that. There is a grocery store probably about 1 mile down the road, and also a gas station near there. So if you're camping here and you forget something, the grocery store down the street is pretty accessible to get to and should carry everything that you need. If you look through the trees, you'll see picnic tables and grills. There's probably about 50 of these all the way from the parking lot area down to the spring. They're separated about 30 feet apiece, so it gives you a really nice place to bring your own food and cook your lunch while you're enjoying your day. So we're going to head over to the boat ramp and put our kayaks in the water. In order to get over to the boat ramp, you have to go through the primitive camping area. One thing I really like about this park is they did very minimal tree removal for the roads and the campsites. This place still has tons of trees and nature. There's also a trail that leads from the campground that goes down to the spring, and there's no golf carts here. You're not allowed to ride bicycles down to the spring from what I understand as well. So if you're coming down here, definitely be ready to do some walking. Coming up on the left, you'll see a couple of RVs. These are the camp hosts. I'm not sure if they were just for the primitive side or if they do the whole campground area. On the right hand side, you'll see a comfort station, and we stopped in there, and both the ladies and men's room were very clean, and the whole campground area was kept really clean. To the right is the trail that I mentioned earlier that leads from the campground down to the spring. this is the beginning of the full hookup sites. Since the last time I was here, they installed the sewer, which I think is a really nice amenity for this park. There was a lot of people that asked me when we went down there if this was a big rig friendly park, and I would definitely say so. We saw some really long motorhomes and fifth wheel toy haulers in the park, and all the sites are paved, so they're nice and level and pretty shady. I wouldn't say overly shady, but there is nice shade in the campground. Overall, I was pretty impressed with the campground. The last time I visited here, I wasn't camping, but I was here visiting a friend that was camping here. And the sites weren't paved back then. They didn't have the sewer back then. Just the dump station that you use on the way out. So this place has really definitely came a long way. According to their website, the full hookup sites are $50 a night, and the primitive sites are $31 a night. Both loops had comfort stations in them, and like I said before, they were both really clean. And overall, the staff, everyone we came in contact with, was very nice and polite. The campground and the park was really nice. They don't allow drinking down at the spring. I'm sure some people were taking beer and stuff down there, but as long as you're not causing problems, they didn't really seem to care. You are allowed to have alcohol in the campground area, but no alcohol in the spring. As far as surrounding amenities, there's a little shopping mall across the street. It has a couple restaurants in it, a pizza place, a breakfast place. I think there's a post office even across the street. Within a mile, there's a grocery store and a gas station. The Ocala National Forest is a huge area. There's other springs that are within a short drive away. Juniper Springs, Alexander Springs. Juniper Springs is very well known for the Juniper Run, which a lot of people take kayaks and canoes down. So another thing Ocala National Forest is known for is their ATV trail system. You can ride ATVs, dirt bikes, and side-by-sides on marked trails. They have a map and the trailhead system where you pay $10 for 3 consecutive days, which is pretty cheap. You do have to use that 3 days immediately. You can't come back on the same pass and use it at a different time. It has to be used from the beginning day that you buy the pass. But all the trails are marked. About 30 minutes north of Salt Springs, you have the Rodman Dam, which is a world-renowned bass fishing area. And they also have some campgrounds up in that area that are run by the State Department of Environmental Protection. So this was one of the funniest parts of the day. This was our eating area where we had our picnic table and grill set up. And these 2 buzzards came over, and then another one joined them. And then I think like 4 more flew in. So a couple of them started fighting, and then another one jumped in, and they just kept fighting each other, playing with each other. But we enjoyed watching this. The other 4 didn't really get into it. They just kind of watched and everything. But they weren't really like on top of us, but they definitely got close to us. I guess they were looking for scraps and stuff. And we saw a few other tables that also had buzzards there. So these guys must be permanent guests of Salt Springs. I'll give you about another minute of footage to show you how the fight ended. This is us kayaking in the Salt Spring Run. Can't say enough about this area. The whole park is just a beautiful place, and we really enjoyed our day there. The water in most of this area is crystal clear for about a mile north, and that's about as far as we went, and we turned around and came back. But I'll end the video with a couple clips at the end of a kid named Riley we ran into. He was definitely wanting to be on YouTube, and he swam down into one of the springs, and we got some footage of him. And then we ran into a guy named Wade, and he went down into one of the areas where there's a rock that you got to swim on one side and come out, and it was making me claustrophobic just watching him, but he did come back out safe. Here's Riley swimming down into the spring opening. You'll notice he hangs on to the side so that he can get around a little bit deeper. Hopefully you see this, Riley, and you're famous on YouTube. So next up is Wade. The first time he went down, we thought that was pretty much all he was going to do, and I didn't think much about it. But the second time he went down, he went underneath a rock that split inside of the spring opening, and it took a little while for him to come back up, and I was getting a little worried, but as you can see, he made it back to the surface okay.